Wednesday, happy Wednesday, and it is Hard Knocks with AB and Jeff. How's it going, Jeff?
It's going great, man. Again, we're on a run here. Another pretty decent episode. I'm
Yeah,
glad to be here to talk about it. I'm glad we decided to do this again. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot to talk about.
yeah. It's been a really good Hard Knocks than what the expectation was, and
Yes, I would agree with that.
I feel like it's getting a notch better each episode. So I can't
Hmm.
wait to episode 4, but episode 1. So what do you think of when it comes to the beginning of it? Like one thing I was thinking about Randall Cobb. What do you think of what he said about Aaron Rodgers?
And here's the thing. I have a real soft spot for Randall Cobb. I don't know what it is. I remember watching him at Kentucky and being like, this dude's just a gamer. You know what I mean? He was just one of those guys that like I know if I remember correct, he did a bunch of different stuff, for Kentucky. And this was a team then. I know it sounds crazy to say that Kentucky was more overlooked then, but you know what I mean? And came out and went to the Packers. And I remember then like seeing him early in the season and being like, so glad they got that guy. Like that's a football player. So I was always really happy for him in his career. So yesterday's episode was I enjoyed getting to know Randall a little bit just because I've been such a big fan of his and just the way he plays the game and stuff. And then again, this is another week that these guys, the way they talk about Rodgers, and we're talking about a guy that's played with him for this is his 11th season, I believe they said together. It's more and more that you kind of believe in that maybe Rodgers is a likable dude and a team player, and maybe he's not who a lot of us, including me specifically, think he is. So really, but I liked it. I always I like the moment with uh his wife telling his children about the next baby and just
Yeah,
all that stuff. And big fan of Randall Cobb. He's just a guy who these are the guys that like really make the NFL what it is. Like, yes, you have the colossal superstars and the Calvin Johnsons of the world and the Aaron Rodgers of the world, but you need these hardworking, you know, great teammate, great, almost, borderline Hall of Fame players. That's what makes this league go is the depth in that. And guys like Randall Cobb, like these are guys that like everybody wishes they could draft every season. You wish you could draft a Randall Cobb. So long story short, actually, I just made it long. Really,
you
really
good.
got really like the Cobb feature because just what a big fan I am of his game and how he takes how he approaches things.
Yeah, but Randall Cobb was a good chunk of on the show because not really people knew about him. Like you're saying, he's just hardworking guy. He was basically like a high school player for Kentucky. I think he was quarterback, receiver, returning.
That yeah, just did whatever. He was basically one of the best players on the team, if not the best all around player on the team.
Yeah. He's one of those high character guys, like
Yeah.
the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Nick Chubbs type of guys, those hardworking
Yep.
guys that just the lunch pail take. I'm gonna do my best every down, every play, and play for a long time.
And productive too, a
Yeah,
productive player. So I mean, but borderline Hall of Famer. I don't, we'll see if he ever gets there. But when it's all said and done, if he has a really good year, but he also seems to know his role in this team. I really liked his interaction with the other receivers. Like you take a guy like Garrett Wilson, having a veteran like Cobb there, that helps so much just to advance his, obviously going to be a superstar career, even more. So just a great pickup by the Jets, and I take a lot of what he says about Rodgers to heart, and it really had me thinking about what I think about Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you, because I just kind of just my gut feeling, I just trust Randall Cobb, man.
yeah, because you could definitely when he was saying like, "Hey, I was talking to 8 or where he's at 8 or 12, like we need to brush up on all this stuff." He was just telling them like, "I've been winning for over 10 years. I know what I'm saying about it."
Yeah.
Like he made it seem like this fun guy all the time, but if you're not doing your thing, that's when you're not going to get the ball. He's going to tell you how he feels. And then I remember I just heard an interview with Aaron Rodgers said he was like, "I'm not like how I used to be back then, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion and I'm going to give you structured criticism." But that's not bad at all because you sometimes you need that structured
Yeah.
criticism when you're messing up.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get to it later. Another week where Rodgers came off pretty well, and
Yeah.
this is something I've noticed about this Jets team. And again, as a Dolphins fan, I keep saying this. I don't like it. Cobb, Lazard, that like these veterans that they brought in. When they're talking, I'm like, man, this is a pro. Like this
Yeah.
is a guy that I want on my team, and it just feels like they took all the young talent and then all the pieces they filled in with these veterans. Really feels like they knocked it out of the park as of now. Again, I always tell everybody we go by what we see on the show. That's what we're here to talk about. Really impressed with the veterans and how they speak about Rodgers and
Oh,
how they handle themselves and how they handle the younger teammates. Like, man, like this, they're checking all the boxes so far.
yeah. Because even a guy like CJ Mosley, they
Oh,
don't they don't give him a lot of time, but he's like
I need
he
more.
yeah, he drops like a cool little sentence, and you're like, yo, like you're about to go play or something.
I'm glad you picked up on that, AB, because that one thing that he said, that was I was the same way you are. I was like, that's my dude, because
Yeah,
I really have always liked watching Mosley play. I've watched a lot of his games because my wife's a Baltimore fan, so we've watched. I've watched him play a lot, and that was a guy that I'm like, you want on your team. And just that one sentence, I'm like, yep, he's one of them dudes. Like I'm in.
yeah. It's like everybody was coming out really good, and even uh, you always get that speech from the coach, and I actually like what Robert Saleh did. I don't know
We'll
if you
talk
saw
about this. We'll talk about this. Go ahead.
so on the PowerPoints of 4 levels of competitors, I wrote them down: commander, competitor, contender, and survivor. So those are actually some good ones that he brought up. He gave them definitions. I should have wrote the definitions down, but it just it wasn't it didn't sound as corny as a lot of speeches have in the past we had on Hard Knocks in our third season. I actually kind of wanted to listen to this one. I went like on he didn't found something from some a Rocky movie or something like that.
Yeah.
He actually seemed like he actually took his time and actually put something in. I don't know how you feel about it, but
No, no. Here's the thing. Here's how I feel about it. Saleh, like in this season, I still don't know how good of a head coach he is, only because
yeah,
he's just starting. That's why I
yeah,
say that, not because he was, but as a person, man, he's so impressive.
he is.
Like he is obviously just off the charts intelligent. He's ready to go. And I told everybody, man, I'm a sucker for a coach that works out. They show him running the stadium stairs, and I'm like, oh, this is my guy. Like that's just I'm a total sucker for that, because that just means that again, you never stop thinking. I actually like the speech. The one, my note for it, I always write really quick notes so I don't have to
Yeah,
pause a lot when I'm watching the show. My note was, but man, Saleh can talk.
yeah,
That dude like has no problem like just to keep talking. But it feels like the players absorb it, and
yeah,
it's not just going in one ear and out the other. And I actually kind of did like the speech. The only thing, and this is to way over critique something that we weren't there after it and we have no idea how they took it. I like the speech, but just like when Q ball comes up later and he says, I'm a what was his top flight commander, right?
yeah, Commander.
I'm a commander, and I wanted Saleh to be like, "We'll see." Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, because what you have is if you get a bunch of guys who think they're commanders and they're not, this is what Saleh was trying to tell them. And I kind of come at this from like, I've been a foreman and a boss, and done a lot of stuff for that for years. Like, you also don't want every player on your team thinking they're a commander. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with being a lot of those tiers if you know it, if you're aware of it. And that's the only thing that I wish he would have took that moment with Cue Ball. And again, this is 1 second of a
yeah,
TV show. I wish he'd have been like, "We'll see." Like, you're paid to be a commander, but like you need to show me this season that you're a commander. You can't just come up and say you're a commander, because
yeah,
typically a defensive lineman really isn't. A
yeah,
defensive lineman, is Jaws. Like, go eat everything in your path. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he is. But I wish there would have been a moment there to where Saleh would have been like, "I'll decide if you're a commander or not." You know what I mean? Like, kind of checked him,
yeah.
because it kind of feel like Cue Ball kind of just does his thing. And again, great player, but come on, we'll see.
Yeah, he's kind of this big goofy kid. But if CJ Mosley said I'm a commander, like you
That
could just say you're
I'd have
damn
been
right
like,
you
"Yep,
are.
I trust you. I trust you." If Sauce would have said, "I think I could be," maybe, but
Yeah, still young.
then we'll say again, I'm nitpicking because that's what we saw on the show. But I did like the speech. I'm beyond impressed with Saleh. Like, I don't want the Jets to win, but I want him to succeed.
Yeah.
Like I want this. These are the type of dudes that I want out there. You know what I mean? And I want to touch on another thing about since we're talking about the coach. I like this coaching staff, like just as a whole, very diverse coaching staff as far as like culturally, as far as even if you want to say ethnicity. Because I believe Saleh himself, I don't even want to say like what it was, but I know he's the first
Lebanese, lesbian,
yeah.
Lebanese, and Muslim. I think.
Okay,
I
yeah,
can look
that's
it
what I
up
want
real
to be.
quick.
I did not want to insult him, but stuff like that is a big deal as far as the overall picture of things. I like this coaching staff more and more each week. I'm like, they got diversity across the boards, different attitudes across the boards. I love the running backs coach that we got to meet for like 2 seconds. I'm like, man, I
Yeah, he's a good
love
guy.
this dude. You know what I mean? Just the way he talks and how they all work. They really seem like, again, they just keep checking boxes. I'm like, man, this is awesome. So. Uh, but Saleh and his staff, like they look the part and they talk the part for sure.
Yeah, and I know another part you like. They all look like they all work out in the same gym.
Yeah, I do like that. And I'm not shaming any other coaches. I remember a few years ago when the guy from the Browns looked like a walrus out there barking at people. That's cool too. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
me
he's that old
personally,
school
I
coach.
like a coaching staff to be like, I don't know. I like it to look like they could play if they had to. I don't
Yeah,
know. It means nothing either, by the way. A lot of these coaches come and go. Mike Singletary didn't make it. That dude was as intense
oh,
and ready to go as anybody. So it literally does. There's no carryover except for it makes me feel better. In this case, worse because I don't want the Jets to be good.
I get you. When it comes to Mike Singletary, he brought the same intensity he came when he was with
Oh,
the
it sure
Bears.
did.
Just took the helmet off and the pads and just
Yeah,
brought the football. Like, hey, he got Vernon Davis on the right track though, so got to
yeah, he
give him
sure did.
that.
Different type of coach, but man,
So,
Saleh, he's just I would assume like if you just go look, I don't know if he's a PhD, like he just seems like the
yeah,
smartest guy in the room at all time. I can totally see why you would hire him. Like I totally see, like I'm like, okay, I'll hire him. And I like my coach, at the Dolphins for the same reason. Like he's kind of he feels like he's the smartest guy in the room. I don't even know if he is. He just feels like it. So makes me feel better. But I take Saleh on my team anytime, anytime.
uh, the crazy thing, they both come from the same coaching tree with Mike Shanahan.
Right. What a staff. What a staff that they had there.
They're, I know we're going a little bit off subject, but when it comes to those coaches from there, they're like these new age type of coaches. They're
Yep.
not like the old school gritty coaches. They're not afraid what they say, but they say it in a different manner
Yep.
than what you used to. Like what's the coach for the Dolphins? He's not like the typical coach, but he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's out of his mind and I love it. But then it's funny because it's just a year since we had Dan Campbell, who is like right out of the like 1950s. You know what I mean? And that's working. But so there is no right answer. But I agree with you. Like I like I don't even want to call it cerebral because it makes it sound like a coaching staff like Campbell's isn't smart. I don't mean that at all. They just come off as kind of more cerebral and more swarmy. But all these guys to get to a head coaching level at any level, I don't care, is tough. And to get to the top level, like you have to be some of the best of the best of the best.
Absolutely.
Except for maybe your coach. I don't know. I'm not so sure about him. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
So, hey, he's better than the last one that just clapped and smiled.
Nah, he's all right. Hey, he's got a Super Bowl under his belt. All these other guys we're talking about don't.
Yeah, that's true. He come from the Marty Schottenheimer, so
Yeah, and what a great tree to come from.
yeah,
Schottenheimer, man, you know what
that's
I mean?
underrated
More
coach.
of the field general, whatever. I live here in Ohio, so I got to see a lot of Schottenheimer games. So
Oh
there's
yeah,
just different ways, but I'm enjoying it. I'm the staff's growing on me. It's upsetting me greatly.
yeah. Because I keep forgetting that y'all both. That's a rival team right there. So I know it's
Yeah.
kind of a little bit
Oh,
hard for
I've
you to.
despised the Jets. Like here's the thing. The Jets are one of those teams I don't believe, unless it's been a freak game against, we'll say, the Steelers or Patriots,
Yeah,
I've never rooted for the Jets in any game they've played since I've been alive. You know what I mean? It's just a team that, like, like it's you and the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Like you just see him, you're like, oh, I'm rooting against them. I don't know who they're playing. I don't know what's going on, but I just know I'm naturally just going to be against the Jets, and then so it is weird. But I'm also like liking the individual stories and really start. But again, I hope they fail miserably.
I don't
At the
blame
same time, I hope they all get better jobs
you.
with different teams. I
I,
hope Saleh comes to be the defensive coordinator for Miami.
you know what's gonna happen? I feel like next year it's gonna be one of the NFC East teams that's gonna get on
Oh
Hard Knocks, and not,
man,
and it's gonna be me trying to say something nice about them.
it's rough.
Yeah, I swear, if I got to say something nice
But I'm
about Nick
keeping an open
Sirianni,
mind. I'm keeping an open mind.
I'm gonna try to keep an open mind if we do got to talk about the Eagles and Nick Sirianni. I'm like,
So, what do you think? Like, we spent a lot of time. We always talk about it every week. What they spend. How much? How much do we care about these fights?
they're getting tired because it just feel like that feels like it's
I almost fast forward.
scripted. It
Yeah,
would it's
like I
pointless.
almost fast forwarded again. Like, oh, we're doing fights again.
Yeah,
Like, first of all, they shouldn't be fighting like that. But I get it. What I don't even really care. That's their business. I don't really need to see it. I don't think we learn anything on the show from the fights. I don't think they add anything to the show. Rogers is even tired of them.
yeah. Even when the player from the Buccaneers was acting like he was about to fight Rod, he started laughing and everything.
Yeah, like nah. Well, boy, you take a swing at Rogers, you're out of the league. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, since Brady's out, the next one in line, if you hit, you might as well just go play in Italy or something at this point, or
Absolutely.
XFL.
Yeah. So that was there was a couple moments. There was about 10 minutes of the show that I was kind of like, okay, let's get on. The fights were one of it. I was like, okay, I get it. Fights. They're wrestling around again. I didn't even like it didn't look bad, and I didn't mind the montage. I just didn't care. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I would rather meet another player. I would rather just talk to Mosley for 2 minutes or a little more Gardner. Gardner showed back up this episode, and
yeah,
I'm here for what he had to say, and that was part of the fights. But I think a little more mic'd up Gardner would have been
yeah,
cool. So little too much time on the fights for me.
yeah. I feel like give me 10 seconds to fight and we get his move on,
Yeah,
and just have him mic'd up with Sauce Gardner. Like if everybody's saying he's gonna be that top 5 corner, I want to know what type of person he is off the
100%.
field, on and off the field. Not about who hit who,
Yep.
and then that Quinn Williams and Mike Evans, how he got hurt about
That
him.
was a little funny. I will
It was
say
funny.
that. I was he kept calling him. But here's the thing. This is another thing about Williams. And again, I'm not going at Williams. This has nothing to do with what he's going to do in the field. But as far as
Yeah,
like he's kind of just pouting about Williams calling him, calling him fat, or Evans calling him fat. And I'm like, that was funny, but I'm like, you just told me that when you told me you're a commander, you just told your coach that you're a team leader and you're going to
yeah,
carry this team to the Super Bowl. And now you're pouting about wide receiver calling you fat. And actually, so is that contrived? Is it for the show? I don't know, but I didn't think I came off as like, as one of those dudes, if that's what you're doing. I don't know.
yeah. And he could have came back and talked about Mike Evans' ball spot in the back of his head or something. He could have went back, but he just said, "You
Yeah.
hurt my feelings."
And I think of guys like Aaron Donald or something, how they would have handled it. Like these are dudes that like, and again, we're nitpicking here, but that's what's fun about this show. I know it doesn't reflect on Q season, but
Nah,
yeah, but I thought that was a pretty funny moment. Thought
yeah,
they I thought the way it was edited, you know what I mean? Like the way they
yeah,
kind of, and then closed it and let Evans get his say. I was like, I was surprised. I'll tell you something I was surprised since we're talking about the Buccaneers practice. No Baker Mayfield. I just assumed that like when
yeah.
were they would just
That's true.
have to stick the camera in his face. Nothing. I was very surprised.
Yeah, I think because they gave him so many commercials these past 3 years, they're like, okay, everybody knows
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield. I think he had
good point. That's a fair point. I was like, oh, here we go. We're gonna have to talk to Mayfield because they did that with Bryce Young. They gave Bryce Young a little time. Mayfield, nothing.
yeah, they gave him he had one quick smirk and that's about it. And they're like, we already seen Baker
Yeah,
Mayfield.
so kudos to them for doing that. Actually, they could have hung her. And yeah, Tampa Bay is not. There's really nothing to cover about Tampa Bay this year. Rough season coming. Rough
Yeah,
season coming.
Caleb Williams gonna be a Buccaneer. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
But kind of sticking into the goofy parts, what did you think about the rookie talent show?
It was fine. I like the way they edited it. when as soon as they said they get a second chance, I'm like, oh, here we go again. Like, you know me, I talk about it every week. I don't really care that much about the rookie show, but I thought they did a good job presenting it. And I thought,
Yeah,
dude, I didn't write his name down, the wide receiver that did
I got you.
the scene. Okay, the scene from Eminem. I
Funny
thought
guy.
it all came together. I liked how much fun the team had. I did not realize that everybody would have known those verses. So that was pretty cool. So all in all, I thought they did a good job of bookending the rookie stuff, and they gave him another chance. So I gave it a pass once I saw the whole thing. I was like, okay, that was cool. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, that was actually a redemption from last week because I didn't know what the hell what was going on. But they had like a Quizlet and everything. I was like, okay, this is
Yeah,
terrible.
last week was bad.
Yeah, yeah. Jerome Knapp, he's the one that actually kind of saved when it came to that one. The
Yeah,
other ones, they were just doing karaoke like at a bar type of thing.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's not great, but it's not.
Yeah, they had fun and they wrapped it up. So, like I say, I gave it a pass, but I was ready to be like, okay, come on, I don't want to do this again. And I know that's just something they show on that show. Maybe it's just because we've seen so many Hard Knocks, like we know how it's going to go.
Yeah,
And I'm just to stop again. I really want to see more football and just talk to anybody.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But again, they're not just there to please me. So overall, it wasn't a waste of my time because what's funny about this they do, and I know Aaron Rodgers is honestly the biggest story in the NFL right now. I get that, but like we, every scene, no matter what we're doing, we have to have a camera on Rodgers the whole time. You know what I mean? Like no, when the rookies are singing, they got to keep going back and forth to Rodgers. Like
absolutely.
everything is about how Rodgers is feeling. I don't know that it's a little overdone, but again, I get it. Biggest story in football. You got. I suppose you know what. I guess looking at it, this is probably the way they do Hard Knocks now. I suppose this is probably the biggest name player that's been on Hard Knocks in several seasons because of the stipulations that we talked about. So maybe that's what they're doing. Like, holy shit, we got a Hall of Fame, guaranteed Hall of Fame quarterback on. We need to take advantage of this. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because last year was Jared Goff. Yeah, he got Dak, but he's not as polarized as Aaron
But
Rodgers.
Dak did a great job though
He
that year.
did. He did.
Remember, like I fell in love with Dak that Hard Knock season. So maybe
Yeah.
it's just I just don't like Aaron Rodgers. I think it really just boils down to like how much more Aaron Rodgers do I need to see? Not a lot. I tell you, there's another quarterback that I've seen too much of, and it's getting old.
Oh, that. Hey, that's a good transition because we're talking about the game, and I know you're talking about. Is it Zach Wilson?
It's a lot, man. Like we've came into 3 weeks in a row now that they're implying that he's figured it out, turned the corner. Aaron Rodgers has taught him how to play football, and they scored 6 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he had one run, and they spent all this time on his run, the quarterback run was the whole Zach Wilson stuff. And again, that's part of the entertainment of it is because I don't like it, so it still entertains me. It's a little over the top on the implications of how good Zach Wilson has become under Aaron Rodgers' tutelage. And then they just keep going back to the one scene to Rodgers telling him one thing, about setting his feet and knowing when to run. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's probably the only thing he said to him the whole training camp. How about no best part of it? Best part of the show, I'll call it right now. When Rodgers looks over and Wilson's putting the headband on, which is ridiculous. We all know it. And he's like, really? That was my
That's the
favorite
best.
part of the entire show.
Man, it's like it keeps the sweat out of my eyes or something like.
Yeah.
The only thing that keep those two interesting, they just said Aaron Rodgers is his dad or something like that. That's the only way to keep my
Yeah.
interested in it.
Yeah, it's again, we've seen this before on the show. Like they'll go through all this and Wilson might not even be the backup. I'm being serious about that.
I wouldn't be even shocked because it was the next quarterback, Tim Boyles, who came from the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be another one. And that's another thing. You don't never you see like a clip of him, but it's always Zach Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. What about the third or fourth quarterback on there?
Yeah. They've really stuck with the highlights on this. I'll tell you what. We'll roll back a second. The Wilson segment was good. I did like that. they gave Garrett Wilson and him catching with 11 balls or whatever, that little kind of promo video they did. That's what I call
Oh
it
yeah,
now, because this is all fluffy. But I did enjoy that because I think Wilson's talented, and I like the actual like focused on the field running route stuff that they showed, because that, again, that's the Wilson that I know from Ohio State and from last year with the Jets. I'm like, watching this guy running routes is amazing. And I like the footage and the montage of just
yeah,
watching him do work on the defensive backs.
yeah. I don't know why I forgot that part because that was a really good part in that scene, showing that how great of a route runner that Garrett Wilson is. And you would think he's been in the league for a while, but this is his
He was
second
like
year.
that freshman year, AB. Freshman year, he could run. I mean, he's just apparently someone who his whole life has studied and worked on He's been the best route runner, on his team since he was a freshman at Ohio State, and I mean that. And he had Chris Olave on the other side, and he was still a better route runner. I mean, just an impressive kid.
Yeah,
So that was fun to see.
yeah, you can tell he's definitely locked into the game.
Yeah.
Like every time you hear him interview, you just see him focus. He just want to get this interview over so he can work on his technique and everything. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah. So I did like the Wilson segment.
kind of sticking to the preseason game.
Yeah.
One more goofy. Did you remember the Thomas Morstead the run? Because what did he say? He
Oh,
said
the placeholder,
yeah,
right?
the placeholder,
Yeah.
and he was saying the reason why he runs so he can still stay nimble and everything like that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one. But
So I like stuff like that when they don't dwell on it. Like I didn't have to, I didn't have to meet his family. I didn't have to have a backstory. It was just a funny moment that they caught this dude doing, and and everybody's laughing at him. He's like, "That's how I do it to stay
yeah,
nimble." You know what I mean? So that stuff like that's what's great about Hard Knocks.
yeah, I couldn't imagine him just going into like this montage of his film when they go back to when he was a kid or something.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for it.
But
Just like going back, they did when they kind of got into a couple of the families early on. It's like, I'm not trying to be like cold hearted here, but some of it's like what I want to say sometimes is like, yes, for we know that these football players are young and they have young families, and
yeah,
and they want to get an NFL job. Like, I don't really need to see it every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I want everything to work out for you, but yeah, I get it. You're awesome. You got babies. I hope it all works out. Like, I don't know how many times I need this, rinse, repeat kind of thing here.
yeah,
Best of luck to you.
yeah. You would think you would do that with with players that you've been having constantly on as the star of the show, but it's like guys like Tanzel Ward. You kind of the only scene you seen him was when he
Yeah.
couldn't say charcuterie, and that was like the last scene, and then episode 3. But now we're going like, oh, here's his wife and her family and his daughter and everything, and he's
Yeah.
trying to make it on the team. It's
Yeah.
like,
I'm like, just that was another one of those parts, and I'm like, okay, let's get through this. Me personally, I mean, I'm sure there's people that like it. Hard Knocks knows more about making their show than I do. I will admit that. I'm just saying for me, I did like the running back story though. We
oh yeah,
got into his
the
family, got into
cameo.
him on the field. I'm gonna try and say it. Izzy, uh, a
Uh,
Abanaconda.
yeah, I think you got it right.
Because I
I
tried
was,
to write it down phonetically so I would say it appropriately, because I was, I'm taking notes as it's going. I liked that. I liked him. I liked his family. I thought they were super cool. And I like the shot. I do like the shots of the conversations of the family in the stands.
oh yeah,
That's something Hard Knocks kills. I love it. Because we've all been there, and that's what we said. Episode 1, we told everybody preseason football. You know, as viewers, we turn it on, we tune it out. We're like, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
But there's all these families in the stands and friends in the stands that like, this
yeah,
is so important and this is such a big deal. And so I like it when they do that, because you realize that like even these preseason games are huge. You know what I mean? Like, they mean something to somebody. And I thought that was a cool segment. Felt bad for the kid getting hurt. I hope he's really not hurt. It's kind of a weird injury. And I liked how they did the close up of the injury. Like, you got to hear him say what happened to him. I thought that was some real like inside football stuff there that we got with Izzy.
yeah. You getting that real access when it comes to Hard Knocks now.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to injuries, I actually looked it up because I was worried, like, because I was a big fan of him out of Pittsburgh. I remember seeing him a couple games. It's kind of random you're from Texas, but you get to see Pittsburgh games. I
Yeah.
was like, man, this guy is explosive. And now you're on this deep class of running backs because
Right.
now you got Dalvin, you got Brees Hall.
Yeah.
That's another
And Michael Carter.
Michael Carter, and then Izzy might not even make the team, but he's a really good player. But I looked it up; it was a thigh. I think it was a thigh contusion.
Contusion, probably. Yeah.
So it wasn't I was worried like, man, don't have a torn ACL.
Oh, yeah, my heart sank when that. But I like that. I liked his family. I thought that was. I thought. See, that's one of those moments. I was like, I thought they did that right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like in the stands, and you got to hear him talk. He was a local kid. You know what they were saying? Brooklyn, I believe. I think they said he was from Brooklyn.
yeah,
So that was cool. So I guess talk about. I don't. I thought they just did that one correctly, and I got enough of him. Like I got to meet him enough. I was invested. They did it great, and then he gets hurt, so I'm sad. Like all this in like a 2-minute, highlight reel. So, they did their job on that one. Hard Knocks had me on that one.
yeah. In a short amount of time, because that's usually like in movies they build it up, but they did it like 2 seconds. Like, man, I hope he's okay. And
Yeah,
everything.
we were totally invested, want him to make the team.
Yeah,
Next highlight, he's hurt. You know what I mean? We went through this whole pinwheel of emotions in like a minute 30. That's good television.
yeah. And then when you were talking about the running back coach, he even liked him even more because he literally after the game went and talked to the family and everything.
That was cool. The running back coach. Yeah. Immediately, the dude. I heard him say like 3 words the whole episode. Fell in love with him. I'm like, oh, this is my guy. Like, I love this guy. This guy. I don't know anything about him, and I'm just like, I'm in. I'm all in on this kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't even touch on. They introduced Dalvin Cook a little bit.
Oh yeah, he kind of got a little appearance of Dalvin Cook signing and everything. I know he had to go see his first child and everything, but he
Oh,
had
that's right. Yeah.
he did have a good scene and everything. Got to be at practice and everything, but I think we'll get to see more next episode.
Next episode is going to be great because they've already said that Rodgers is going to start, so we'll actually get to see the first New York Jets, live action Aaron Rodgers, which I'm sure that'll be the last 20 minutes will be all every play of Aaron Rodgers on the field.
Oh yeah, we're gonna call it Aaron Rodgers candy because that's all it is.
Yeah. See, that's the thing though. We were told last week, about the time we were filming this show last week. Remember, they told us that Tampa Bay kicked his ass in practice. We heard that, or he got his butt kicked in practice all week. They didn't even touch on that. Nothing about the offensive line this week. We didn't see any of that, but I know it came out in the reports that they had terrible practices and Rodgers was getting beat up. Nothing. So that was weird that they kind of, whether I don't know if they buried it or eliminated it or whatever, but I thought that was going to be the story of our week, and they never even brought it up.
Not because they did talk about like after practice how Saleh was upset and everything, but when it came to like seeing scenes of it, I guess they had some control. Like, okay, y'all need to take whatever y'all was going in practice out of the scene.
I guess, and I would assume that's what they did was they're trying to make. Because here's the thing: we saw this preseason game. Because believe me, I don't look at preseason scores or whatever, so I had no idea what was going to happen in this game. When it was over, and they said the final was 13-6, I was like, they made that game look like the Jets were pummeling Tampa Bay, and they scored 6 points. So they really doctored the footage, so to speak.
Yeah, even at practice, it looked just equally. It just looked like they were both going at it. Yeah. And then in the game, it looked like it was like, oh man, it's like 21-7 or something.
I would have guessed. I was like, man, the Jets must have rolled. Then they said it was 13. It was 13-6 at halftime too, I think, or it might have even been worse. I don't know. It's just, and again, it's preseason, I understand, but it's just funny how they can make the footage. It directs you however they want. Because I'm sure, like, if they would have, if the shoe was on the other foot and they were doing Tampa Bay, the whole episode would have been, man, Tampa Bay looked good against the New York Jets and blah blah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was just funny how I'm like, wait a minute, the Jets scored 6 points. We heard in practice they had bad practices, but yet it looked like they were a juggernaut all week. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Oh, and we got another. We got what's it called? The one from they call him B Rabbit from the. From that scene, he actually got a couple of catches.
Yes,
in that game.
That was a big deal. Yeah, he got a catch. Here's all I would say to that dude. Best of luck to you. You're a wide receiver, and I think he was wearing like
31.
Yes, I'm like, you're in trouble, buddy. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm not. I hope it works out for you in the next team. But if you're wearing 31, you might not be there. You might not be there week 1.
I hate to say it, like 31 on the receiver is like the most D2, D3 NIA
That's rough.
number. You don't see that in the NFL.
Of course,
I
you're
kind of
talking to a guy, Ohio State starting quarterback might be number 33. So I guess I should take back everything I said because that's just awful. But you never know, man. Maybe he makes the team and takes 81. I mean, they change numbers all the time. So I'm not gonna hold him to 31.
yeah,
Go ahead, B Rabbit. Go ahead, B Rabbit.
yeah. He's a D2 kid. I remember them saying. I
Yeah,
don't know what school he came from, but yeah, he's
yeah.
gonna
They didn't say the school. That's another one. Like, go ahead and tell us the school. Like, I would have
like
liked to known that.
yeah, give the school he came from some love because got a they had a guy that's now in the league or something like D2's like a lot of schools.
Yeah.
I didn't know where he's from.
Yeah, yeah, no idea. So I'm hoping for him, but man, he's got a lot stacked against him. You got he's number 31 rookie at D2 for a team with a deep receiving core.
Yeah,
But you know what though, the good thing if Rodgers says stay, he'll probably keep him.
yeah. They'll probably put him on the practice squad and maybe he'll get to
I hope
play
so.
like week 6 or something like that. Next thing you know, he catches a touchdown. Like, who is Jerome Knapp? Oh, if you'd have watched Hard Knocks, you would have known him.
And he's one of those dudes. Like if I look at the way he carried himself in that rookie performance, on stage, I'm like, this is a dude that's got confidence. This is the kind of guys that I want around me. So maybe that's it.
Yeah,
We
he
might be
could
seeing
be.
this. We might be seeing a superstar in the making.
Hey, you never know. I wouldn't. Then we could say, hey, we remember him when he was over there trying to doing a 8 Mile impersonation.
Hey, if nothing else, man, New England likes them undersized white receivers, man. They might scoop him up on the block and put him in. He might they love that shit.
Yeah, that is true. Um, he probably would get picked up by New England. Bill
Oh, it'd be
Belichick.
definitely New England.
They'd be like, "How tall? He's only 5'11". He came
Oh,
from
it's
the small
perfect.
school. Sign him up."
He's the next Danny Amendola.
Yeah, there's Danny Amendola, Julia Edelman, Chris Hogan, Wes
Yeah, on
Welker.
and on and on. Yeah, Wes Welker's the goat of it.
Yeah, that is true. He was like the beginning of it and just kept going.
Yep.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah, they don't. I don't think they have one right now. So,
I
you
know it's
know,
weird receiving crew they got there. I don't know what's going on.
because yeah,
Bo-
he might be New England Patriot.
Boston needs some of them dudes, man. They need what they got. They got to start selling some jerseys. them old boys in Boston need some of them scat back jerseys quick. They would love a number 31 slot receiver jersey. They would be the hottest selling jersey in all of Boston if they signed that dude.
He is screaming Boston, to be honest with you, when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't go to. I hope the Jets don't pick you up. I hope the Patriots pick you up just for the sake of
My
Boston.
dream is he winds up with the Patriots.
Man,
I can't remember Chris. Was it Chris Hogan or Hoban? It was Hoban, wasn't it?
Hogan or Hogan?
Well, it's for BYU, right?
I think
I think it was I had to be BYU. Come
some
on.
school, like some obscure school.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that dude, man. That's a good shout out.
Yeah.
And again, I want to tell everybody, all these guys were way better football players than I ever dreamed of. I'm just making fun of them. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I never set foot in the NFL
nope.
locker room, so
I never even sniffed it.
That's why you don't hear us calling players trash, because we never got in the league. So
yeah. He's So shout out to come on, 31. Come on.
Yeah.
You can be that. You could be that. You're the great white hope, 31. Come on.
I might buy Jerome Knapp jersey if you go to the Patriots.
Shout out to Jerome Knapp, man. He got some soul on him though. He got a little, he got a little flavor. He got a little flavor.
Hey, he kind of give you that Marky Mark kind of vibe, so he might.
It's just literally, it's just that's going to be his comeback song. It's definitely going to be Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Like it's going to be good vibrations when he hits the field, scores a touchdown. It's going to be good vibrations. And he's going to be pointing and be like, "I told you, Jeff and AB. I told you."
Man, we need to get him on this.
He's going to drop the mic on us. We're the Papa Doc of this situation. Like we think it's one way, and he wins that Super Bowl, we're going to be crying.
Facts. And then, hey, that means one of these New England Patriots scouts is actually watching the show. Like, shout out to y'all.
They're like, "Ooh, yeah."
They're like, "What school is he from?"
They're like, "We've been scouting UConn all week, but man, we need to shift our focus to this kid."
I hope they know it's 40 time. If it's a 4-6, we're signing them up right now.
Somebody will be like, well, he does sing rap music, and they're like, dang, they're like, but it was Eminem, and they're like, we're back in.
You said Eminem?
Tell me more.
That's man. I
Oh
didn't think we
goodness.
would have like a 5-minute segment
No,
on doing that.
that went sideways. That went sideways.
Oh, we do have a cringy moment for this, and
Oh
I'm
no.
glad to bring Woody Johnson, the owner's chain.
Oh my gosh, that escaped my mind earlier. Thank you so much for bringing that back. Tell us about it.
So he came in there trying to be inspirational, come out with a chain it's like, man, I didn't think there was a cringier owner until I met you, and it had Woody on it, and it was like shaped like how Sauce Gardner's chain is. I'm like, you just really just have this on so you can show everybody that you're a billionaire and you can just do random crap like you did.
Bro, when he opened his coat up, the first thing I thought was like, AB is going to kill this guy. I was like, what is he doing?
How old is Woody Johnson?
Dude, I don't remember anybody but unless he got that team really young, he's old.
Oh,
I think he's
is.
been around for a minute.
He's 76, and he's the United States ambassador to the United Kingdom.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
I'm not gonna go any further because then we'll go into
Yeah. We'll
a
stay away
political
from that.
pothole.
Yep, you're exactly right. I was thinking to say that. I was like, nope, ain't saying a thing. But
Yes, 76 years old and got him a Woody chain.
man, that was rough. I'm like, I know in your mind somebody told you it was going to be funny, but like, just stay away. Just having an owner, like, I guess Kraft has been pretty good at being involved, but like, man, just stay away. Just let him play.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, though. You notice something about Woody too, though. He ain't afraid to bring up the money.
Oh yeah.
Every episode he brings up the money. Saleh's like, that's a good player. And Woody chimes in, well, you ought to be what we're paying him. Like he brings that money up every time Saleh comments on a player. Like Woody's keeping books. Like this dude, Saleh's job is on the line if this team don't perform. That's what he keeps telling him. He's like, I spent the money. You need to get this done. I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, he's got to be one of those self-made billionaires. The way he talks about when it comes to money. If he was like a guy that came from like my dad owned these oil fields, they wouldn't bring him money like that. But he's like, yeah, I hope he is. He's like he costs. He'd have the number.
He brings it. Yeah, he brings it up like he wrote a personal check. You're right, exactly like that. He keeps bringing it up. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, not really supposed to talk about money here. That's nope, not Woody. He's like, he ought to be. He ought to be a good player. But I don't know. I don't even know if that's a bad thing. It's a different technique. Like typically they kind of try to keep that behind closed doors, but not Woody. He might be down on the field like counting. He might be looking at stat sheets. Like,
he looks at all these players like, we paid you this, and this is what we're getting.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Cue ball, can I talk to you for a minute? This column and this column ain't adding up, dude. You see this chain, right? You see who I am, right?"
I think I would have tried to demand a trade with my agent after he just showed the chain. Like,
I hope that don't become a thing, man. I hope we don't see that again.
I hope if they win a Super Bowl and hope they don't interview him, he just pops out with a chain and a grill with Woody out his mouth.
If he goes grills and a chain, then I might be back in and just be like, this dude crazy. Like this dude is absolutely crazy.
I might take a break from football.
Don't he have a grandkid? Like to tell him, like, nope, we can't do this, Papaw.
He got 5 kids, so he's got to have some grandkids.
Somebody's got to be a no man.
And he's like, I'm gonna do it. Like when it comes to Robert Kraft, he just one of them guys. Like after the Super Bowl, he just he done drunk a few martinis and everything.
Yep,
but he doesn't get that. You don't get cringy like that.
Well, here's the thing about Robert Kraft. Like, yeah, he's very involved. He's won a lot of championships. But when he does, you like when they're talking to him or he's around, you always know that like, yeah, I'm paying all these guys. You know what I mean? Like like where the money's coming from and who's really in charge. Woody's trying to be like one of the dudes. I don't know what he's going for, but it ain't working. Like Woody, I bet you got a nice, comfortable suite to watch practice from, man. Just go chill. Just go chill, Woody.
Because last year, did we even know who the owner of the Detroit Lions was?
Nope.
Like,
It's
I
the
think he
Ford.
was
It's the Ford family, but I couldn't tell you the slightest idea who they consider the owner. That's a
uh,
great point.
I forgot the Ford family owns that because even if you had the Patriots, I mean the Patriots, the Packers, it's like a whole group of them.
Yeah, it's owned by like a. It's basically like a. It's weird how that works because it's owned by the fans supposedly, but they don't have a say in the operation. So it's the Packers are weird.
Yes, that's
They have a
interesting.
management group, is what they got.
Yeah, could you imagine the fans trying to control a team?
Oh my goodness, the Packers was a good Hard Knocks. That was a long time ago, but it was good. It was
Yeah,
good
that was
because because of that, like the environment. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Riding their bikes and all that.
I remember
This
that.
this Jets thing is like they're acting like what's the closest thing? Because you get a lot of NBA teams like this. They kind of remind me of the Brooklyn Nets of the NBA a few years ago when they got Harden and
Oh yeah.
Irving and Durant together.
Mhm.
And they're like, okay, we know we're going to the finals. Like it's just what happens in between. That's how this Hard Knocks team. They're about approaching that level.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it don't
Um,
work like that in the NFL.
nah, you can have all the superstars you want. So injuries happen,
Yep.
and players don't fit in the scheme. So you didn't
Yep.
see it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, we got to see the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio.
Bro, that's right.
Yes,
Daniel's son showed up.
yeah, he came out of nowhere. Like when I seen him from a distance, like he looked familiar, and then when they put the name, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's the
but so
Karate Kid.
he did a couple weird things here. So he came out, he quoted the movie version of Mr. Miyagi, right?
Yeah,
Which is fun. And let's all remember that again, um, Ralph Macchio is currently in a Karate Kid show, and it's a pretty good show. It's very successful, but he is currently still the Karate Kid, the same character, right? And LaRussa, Daniel LaRussa. And so then he comes out, he does the Mr. Miyagi speech, but then like it sounded like Sauce gave him some business. I didn't quite hear what Sauce said. Maybe you did. And then and then all of a sudden Ralph gets a little mad, drops the F bomb, basically tells Sauce to mind his business. That I assume he made a Karate Kid joke or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah,
wait a minute, you're still the Karate Kid, and you just dropped a Karate Kid quote. Like now you can't be offended that somebody. I don't know what happened there. It was kind of funny. I mean, it wasn't
yeah.
super serious, but I was like, come on, Ralph. Like you kind of brought it on yourself. I don't know what Sauce said. I didn't catch it, but it got under it unraveled a nerve in Ralph.
I guess because he probably is like an Air Force, and he probably get people trying to quote Karate Kid.
That I would imagine. But again, he still is the Karate Kid. Like he currently is filming a show where he's the Karate Kid still. Like, why would you not? It's
Yeah,
not like he's moved on from it.
yeah. Like everybody remembers you from that. If you would have did like had a big time acting career, like how Ron Howard transitioned from being Opie
Right.
Hopper and Andy Griffin to
And you
being the
call him,
top director.
yep. Totally. I totally agree with that. But I don't know what Sauce said. It was funny though. I liked that Ralph shot back a little bit.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
a
funny.
genuine moment, and I got a laugh out of it. But that's just what I was thinking. I was like, as soon as he quoted Mr. Miyagi, I'm like, bro, like a little cringeworthy
Yeah,
because Ralph Macchio's. I believe he's 60. I think he's
he's
60 now. He's not a young man.
yeah,
And I'm like, you should have just kind of said your own thing. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to be super serious about this Miyagi quote, and all these players are like, who the is this kid? Like, so
because
I don't know. It was a little awkward. I thought it was an awkward moment. Woody's was cringeworthy. This was awkward. Like
yeah,
Lib Schreiber's was cool. Like his was
oh yeah,
dope. You know what I mean? Maybe I hope next week they bring in like I don't know. I wouldn't pretend to know right now like who's the biggest like hip hop star or whatever from the New York area,
yeah,
but like maybe bring in somebody a little more culturally relevant and
yeah.
let's see if the players flip out or something. I don't know who that would be because with a bunch of 25-year-olds, but maybe try that next week. Not roll out. I don't know, roll out Robert De Niro next week, I suppose.
They made yeah. I don't know. It's just you got to think about it. Most of those kids don't know Karate Kid like
Probably
that.
not. I bet half of them are like, I have no idea what this. I don't know who this guy's talking about. I don't know what's up. You know what though? I'd have said that about 8 Mile too, and they knew every word of 8 Mile. I didn't realize 8 Mile was like that relevant with like young people.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
because there's this reel about when they had John Moran because he came from a nice home and they used that line and made it into like a real song. I think that's why everybody always
Oh, there's
gets
part of it. There's part
yeah.
of it.
It's a
Okay.
TikTok culture that kind of got that on.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, see, I wouldn't know. I'm kind of, I'm not dumb to this stuff, but I don't pretend. I ain't got I ain't got a Hard Knocks chain. I ain't got a Jeff chain. You know what I mean? Like Woody does, because I ain't got $1 billion either. So Woody's probably like, yeah, I'm good.
You're not getting a Jeff chain.
I bet Woody got some fake girlfriend that told him how cool it was. How much you want to bet?
Of course, that comes with all the NFL
Yeah,
owners.
there's some
You get a
35-year-old wannabe model that's like, oh, I thought that was really cool, Mr. Johnson. That looks great. You look so cool. You look so rad. I bet she told him he looked rad, and I bet he thought that was awesome. I bet Woody Johnson smells like Stetson cologne. I think so. I think Woody Johnson wears Stetson.
I think that's the NFL owner cologne.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's just across. I bet they got it in all the suites in the bathroom, man. I bet they got Brute 33 and Stetson. You know it. Them guys splashing. They use aftershave, man. You get that kind of money, you use aftershave. You ain't even putting on cologne. There ain't no body spray. It's good old fashioned aqua velva. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them I know because I got a lot of older uncles and
oh yeah, they bring it, man.
That's it in Brute 30.
I'm gonna start getting that shit for Christmas for my grandson. I'll be wearing it all the time. Be like, ladies love this. They love to smell this silky smooth aqua velva, man. And really just putting like hand sanitizer on your face.
Yeah, it burns.
I don't even know how we got here, AB. I don't even know how we got here.
Hey, we always do it. The only reason why I remember it because I remember as a kid, my dad would have something. I just put it on. Like,
oh, you know cool. It?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, I'm gonna go to school. Girls are gonna love this. Not knowing you smelled like a creeper. Like you smell like you just went to the barbershop and used that shit they keep the combs in to keep them sanitized.
Yeah, they said I smell like an old man, so I had to do that
yep. That Old Spice comes out of that dope ass bottle though, man. It just feels good. Like you're like, oh, this is it. This is the secret.
Yeah, Old Spice definitely made a comeback from just being old people.
Oh yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, Brute 33 and Stetson still in the same demographic.
Yep, they're out there.
Man.
I'm telling you, man. Woody sees those commercials. He's like, this is perfect. Brittany's gonna love this. Her name's Brittany. I don't even know. Woody's probably happily married, man. I apologize, Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah,
but you're used to it. Man's a billionaire.
Yeah,
young women always. Yeah, it's just gonna happen. I'm sorry.
It is always a Brittany, but hey, it's all jokes, mate. I hope she got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I bet Brittany does.
Man,
I hope Brittany didn't leave Woody Johnson for Ralph Macchio, a younger man. She might be like, I like that crane kick. I hear you're on Netflix. Yeah, he got that Netflix money. I'm telling you, man.
Oh yeah. Oh man, he might have lost Brittany. Yeah. You know, Brittany got that free Netflix from Woody.
I bet Brittany's wearing Woody's chain. I bet Ralph Macchio is wearing Woody's chain right now. That's what I think. I think he's out at the club wearing Woody's chain, telling everybody how he crane kicked him for it. That's what I think happened. Man, Woody Johnson got crane kicked.
Man, if I was good with the edit, I would find a picture of Ralph Macchio and then take that chain away.
It would end the internet if I ever see that.
Oh yeah. Man.
Shit. Woody got make a man disappear kind of money. Like Ralph Macchio, you never hear from him again. He tried to pull some of that stuff with some of these billionaires. These NFL coaches can bury everything.
Oh yeah, these guys they got that money, like you said. They got that disappeared and like nothing happened type of like.
Yep,
it was all an accident.
Yep, they got that no follow-up questions money.
No questions.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, this has been a great episode and great show in general. we go off subject and people haven't got used to. I don't know what to tell them, but we definitely have we started doing replays. This shout out to you for coming out with the idea. It actually really helps. Like if you're not seeing the show right now, you get to see the replay on tomorrow.
Yeah, if you didn't catch it all. Yep.
you get the lunch special from us.
I
So
love it. Yeah.
yes, if you're when you're going to that food truck during lunch break, getting them tacos or whatever, hey, you put them little headphones on and listen to Hard Knocks with AB and Jeff.
Yeah. If you just catching the show now and you want to know how Ralph Macchio snatched Woody Johnson's chain, you're gonna have to tune in. You had to listen to the whole show to find out.
yeah.
It's a long tangled web.
Yeah, I don't even know what minute or time where we transitioned into that.
Woody Johnson owns 12 Cobra Kai dojos. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't even know. Man, this has never been a great show.
All right, I swear. That's it. I'm done. I promise. I'll be good.
Man, you're good. Hey, this is a PG-13 show, so hey, we're just keeping it funny.
Yeah.
Because
And Brittany, take care of yourself out there, girl.
Yeah, absolutely, Brittany. Y'all have a good one. Peace.